What's going on, guys? It's IcyRhythms. Welcome back. And in this video, we're going to talk about Microsoft at E3. I suppose you could consider this my E3 predictions video for Microsoft, but I want to reiterate something that I feel is very important. There are a lot of you, whether it's here on YouTube or on social media, that are really pointing the finger at Microsoft right now, 5 years into the generation, thinking, oh man, this is make or break. I'm telling you, man, if Microsoft doesn't do something this year. I mean, to be honest, a lot of you have been saying this for about 1.5 to 2 years now, so really nothing has changed. But to my point, we are 5 years into the generation, maybe not a full 5 years, but for video's sake, we'll say 5 years. By the time some of the games that are announced this year, whether it's Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, EA, Ubisoft, whatever it is, by the time some of these games finally release, we'll be 6 years into the generation, 7 years, possibly even 8, if we don't have a PS5 or an Xbox by then. And what I'm saying is, it is so late in the generation for a company like Microsoft that got absolutely obliterated, completely destroyed by the competition this generation, and not just because of the exclusive games and hardware sales, but just marketing, right? Sony did everything right. Microsoft did, I don't want to say almost everything wrong to bury themselves, but they did a lot. They did a lot to bury themselves, and it wasn't a good look. In some ways, some people feel probably still very burned by Microsoft, and a lot of the people that they were able to get on Xbox 360 moved over to PlayStation or PC or something. So those are things to keep in mind. I have to reiterate that it's too late in the generation for them to really be talking about, you know, huge new AAA IPs, or, you know, maybe possibly resurrecting Scalebound or something and repairing whatever the relationship was there with Platinum Games. I mean, I don't know. I don't think so. Again, this is a predictions video. This isn't, hey guys, I have inside sources and then I feed you inaccurate information to hype you up or something. Prediction videos are just guesses. This is all speculation. This is just for fun, but I think it's too late in the generation. If you're expecting Microsoft to blow the doors off, or this is make or break, you're being completely unrealistic. That's some fanboy nonsense that you're on. That is, to me, that's just completely unrealistic. To have those sort of thoughts, to have those sort of feelings, I would set my expectations really low, especially if you're a diehard Xbox fan. But, you know, even still, if you're on another platform and only that platform, if you're looking for anything amazing to come out of this conference, set the expectations really low, and that way, if there are any big announcements or surprises, then, well, you're surprised, right? I mean, that kind of makes sense. Okay, so the predictions. Let's get these predictions out of the way. I'm just going to get a big one out of the way. And I've mentioned this prediction at least once or twice in the past. I don't think I mentioned it last year, but it's something that I know that this is echoed with many other gamers, but I think it would be a huge move, and maybe this is a move that they would want to save for marketing for next generation. Maybe that would be for best, but it would be a huge move if Microsoft were to announce that Xbox Live multiplayer, playing with friends online, chatting with friends online, is now free. And let me just add to that I don't know if, even if this happened, if this would stay the case for more than 4 or 5 years or something. You know, I know that sounds crazy. Hey, give it to us and then, you know, take it away. That's not a good look. It's, you know, some people would probably say very shady business practices, but for perception to look good in the eyes of consumers, the eyes of gamers, like, I could see this move absolutely happening. Even if it's not this year, I can see Microsoft making this move. I know some people say, oh, nah, man, that would never happen. You know, the Xbox Live subscriptions is really like the only thing they're getting some serious money off of. And hey, I understand that to some extent, but that's kind of why I said that this would be a huge move, right? Microsoft doesn't need Xbox Live money, and they've never really made any serious money from Xbox as a whole, so even if this went away, it really wouldn't be that big of a deal, in my opinion. But I can see possibly, again, maybe not this year, but at some point, Xbox Live being announced, you know, multiplayer, talking with your friends, that being free. Halo, man, Halo. Where do we go from here with Halo? I don't know. I do think, see, some people are saying, oh, reboot it. In some ways, they kind of already did that with 4, I would say. I'm not the biggest Halo fan, but I think some people would probably agree that, you know, 4 was such a huge change from what you got from stuff like Halo 2, 3, ODST, and you know, a lot of people say Reach is their favorite one, and I understand that, but you know, rebooting it again already, I don't know if that's what this series needs. I think it just needs, I think it needs a much longer campaign, a more polished campaign, and maybe they need a lot more new talent on the 343 team, or they need to pass this on to a new team that I would imagine at some point Microsoft will have, you know, and they'll be putting together. I just, you know, a new Halo game will feel probably a lot like Halo 5 at this point. I don't, you know, I think Halo 6 or whatever they decide to call the next AAA Halo game should be a next box launch title. This would be huge, right? A really extremely polished AAA Halo game that gives you 20 to 25 hours in the campaign, an extremely polished multiplayer experience, and, you know, maybe somehow they can get Bungie to, you know, give them the assist on that, like, hey, what did you guys do that made this so great, that made this so much fun for players? Obviously, like, I don't think that they would be, you know, very involved in the development process of that, but just, you know, maybe we'll hear something along the way like, hey, we called Bungie, we asked them, you know, like, what they would do for such a big game, or having such a big launch title for a new Xbox, or, you know, at the tail end of the Xbox One's life cycle. But I do think it's possible that a new Halo is announced. Crackdown 3. Man, what am I expecting from a Crackdown 3? I think we get another release date sometime in spring 2019. I think Microsoft will avoid this fall. There is way too much artillery for this year. Unless they plan on releasing it in the next month or two, I don't think it's a good idea to have Crackdown 3 come out this fall. I mean, especially when you would release it in a window where there's like, what, Madden, Call of Duty, FIFA, Spider-Man, and of course Red Dead Redemption. Did I say the new Battlefield? All of those games would spell disaster for Crackdown, I'm afraid. I don't care how much they've improved or how much they've polished the experience. That's probably not a good thing for Crackdown 3. But I do think that Crackdown 3 will be a lot better than the last time we seen this game. The last time that we gamers seen Crackdown 3, those of us that seen some of those clips, seen some of those videos, it didn't look absolutely awful, but it didn't look very polished either. There were bugs, just a lot of jank, it seemed like. I think what gamers really want from Crackdown 3, and I could be wrong about this, those that played the original, is just Crackdown 1 with current visuals, right? Like whatever is possible on the Xbox One, and especially the Xbox One X. I think people just want that. They don't necessarily need a game that's, full of, great writing and story moments or anything, because the first one didn't have that. It was really fun to play. Crackdown was really fun to play. I bought the game because, just like everyone else I think that bought the game, I wanted into the Halo 3 beta, and I was just thinking, hey, I'll try this game and see what it's about. It turns out I actually liked the game a lot. I'm trying to remember if I beat the game. I know I maxed like whatever you can do with the car. I maxed that out, I believe, and there was like a co-op component, if I'm not mistaken, and I played with my friend Blue Kush as well. We had a lot of fun with that game, but it is, I'm not expecting a lot from this conference. Like I said, you get Halo, Crackdown, possible Xbox Live being free announcement, new Gears. I think that's pretty much a given at some point. Will it be this year? I don't know if it'll come out this year, but I can see them announcing it this year. Is 2 years enough time to get another Gears game out? I guess these games never really told like some 25-30 hour story or something, so really all they have to do is make it look amazing like Gears of War 4 does, right? Put it on that engine and have the multiplayer be everything it's always been, and people will probably still hype it up. People will probably still buy Gears of War 5, but I think it needs to be a little bit more than that. I kind of want something more at this point as a longtime fan from Gears of War, to make it feel a little less dude bro, so it's not like it isn't fun or I have an issue with that. I think it's time for a change. I wouldn't even mind like a first person Gears of War that was like extremely polished, AAA and all that. I think that would be great. And let me say this too about this conference. I think once again you'll see that a lot of these titles are play anywhere, so they'll be available on PC, and that would include a new Halo game. And there's been talk and rumors for a while now, even from Microsoft themselves, or actually 343, or was it 343 that did the Master Chief Collection? The developer that did the Master Chief Collection, they are on record saying, hey, we can't say anything at this time, but we are listening. We understand that PC gamers want Halo on the PC platform, so take that for what it's worth, I suppose. But yeah, I think most of the titles that are announced on stage will once again be play anywhere, and you'll be able to play them on PC. So I think there's a chance for a new Gears title. What I've wanted for a long time, and I said this back in like 2010, 2011, when I was doing YouTube videos then, I said, what I think would be cool is a Gears RTS. Everything is there. Like everything, the setup is there, right? COG, Locust. It's all there, and they could go so many other different directions that a game like that could be special. I know that RTS is not for everyone, and I'm sure a Gears RTS would probably be made fun of in some way if Microsoft announce something like that, but like I try not to close my mind like a lot of other gamers. If something isn't third person over the shoulder type of camera with a bunch of cutscenes and cinematic moments, a lot of people they just tune it out. I think that's very close-minded. I think that's unfair. But as a Gears fan, I would be somewhat excited. I would have to see a lot more, obviously, and we would have to see what the reviews are saying and things like that once a game like that finally released, but I would be somewhat excited for a Gears RTS. Obviously, you're going to have your typical, from both Microsoft and Sony, third-party announcements, right? Games that we know for a fact aren't exclusive, but they're sort of treated like royalty. They're treated like exclusives on those respective stages. So I'm assuming we'll see stuff like the new Tomb Raider game on Microsoft stage. And I'm really hoping that we finally get a below release date. That game was announced in what, like 2013, 2014. Like, what's up with this game? I mean, it's not AAA, so what is taking so long? Like, why is Below taking forever to come out? So you have those type of announcements. I'm not really expecting anything big. I guess there's a chance that Sony or Microsoft could money hat a third-party developer into making a game for them exclusively that everyone wants and that probably could bring some gamers to your console and have them buy the hardware, right? It seems almost a given at this point that Devil May Cry 5 is confirmed, but given where Capcom is at, I can't see them making an exclusive unless Microsoft or Sony offered a lot of change, right? A large sum of money, because they're going to want to put that on as many platforms as possible so they can make as much money back, you know, the development cost and marketing cost and then some, and then obviously whatever profit after all of that and all of the middlemen are paid. So I mean, it's just, you know, Devil May Cry 5, I feel like people want it, but how many people are actually gonna buy it? You know, people tell me that stuff like, you know, the way Devil May Cry and, you know, older God of War titles, stuff like that is very dated. Nobody wants to play games like that anymore, and that's why God of War made the change, or, you know, DMC was a little bit different or whatever. But I disagree. I think people just want to play games that are fun. They don't always have to have the most amazing visuals or, you know, modern mechanics versus, you know, slightly older mechanics. I mean, it's not like those games aren't fun, right? You can go back and play, those of us that have been playing games for a while, you can go back and play your favorite games, your classics, and still have a lot of fun. And I think in many ways we wish that the games of today would play somewhat like those older games while implementing also modern mechanics and just having like a really good mix, a really good balance of the two. But, you know, I don't want to get too much into that. So, I mean, Devil May Cry 5 exclusive to Xbox, exclusive to PlayStation, I don't know. You know, I don't think so. But, you know, I think Microsoft will have, I think they'll have something that's very Japanese driven on stage. I'll say that. Outside of the Xbox Live announcement prediction that I gave, I'll say that. I think they'll possibly have, you know, a really big, you know, well-known, loved Japanese developer come out and say, or maybe they'll just say it themselves, that, you know, a really big IP that's been around for a long time is coming to Xbox, and whether it's like a new game in the series, like a sequel or something, or maybe all of the older games remastered or something, I don't know. I think you could see something like that, or again, maybe that's something that they would save for marketing and hype for the next box. And that's really it. I mean, Microsoft, I just don't know what else I'm really expecting. I don't expect big things. I would like to see some Crackdown 3 gameplay in its current state, in its current form, current version. It is possible that we'll see something from CD Projekt, right? Like Cyberpunk 2077, maybe some gameplay for that. Like, I don't want to see anything else. If Microsoft doesn't have them coming out with gameplay, then I don't even care. All right, I don't care about, you know, Cyberpunk only being possible on the X with these type of settings or any of that, or, you know, trying to make comparisons to PC or something. I want to see none of that. You can do that, but only if you follow up with gameplay or have gameplay before saying a lot of that nonsense, because other than that, I just don't care. If the trailers shown at E3 from any of these companies don't have gameplay, it's really hard for me to get excited or be like, oh man, I just can't believe this, wow, you know what I mean? Like, it's just not that big of a deal to me. I am at a point as a gamer, at a point in my life where if you're not showing me something and giving me an idea of what this plays like, I just don't care. And that's how I feel about it. Those are my thoughts. Those are my predictions for Microsoft E3 2018. Let me know what you guys think about my predictions. Let me know what you think Microsoft is going to do, and try to keep it like civil in the comment section. Let's try not to be like Debbie Downers, negative Nancys. Try to be a little optimistic on what you think Microsoft really might do here, or maybe you feel a lot like me, you know, keeping the expectations low, not really expecting much. There is a chance that everything I just said will not happen, right? They're just predictions. That's why we do this. We're just speculating. There's a chance that everything I just said may not happen. It may not go down like that at all. But again, I think it's important to set the expectations really low, and even for Sony for that matter. But I'll get into that once we do our Sony E3 predictions. It could get crazy. It could get crazy for Sony. We'll see. And I expect that I'll say something similar at the end of that video about, you know, everything I just said may or may not be true. But it's fun to speculate. That's why we do these videos. I mean, that's why I'm a content creator. That's why I got into the YouTube scene, because I like talking about games. But unlike a lot of other people in this community, I enjoy playing them a lot more, as opposed to just sitting around and talking about them and, you know, putting out like 1,000 different tweets a day discussing them and having list wars with other gamers. That stuff is completely ridiculous. You guys, it's about playing the games. It's about enjoying good, fun games. In the end, that's what it's really about. That's what we should really be talking about. What games are really fun, what games have, you know, the most gameplay time, the most fun gameplay, things like that. So I will be doing Sony E3 predictions. That video should be out tomorrow or the next day. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you guys very much for the continued support. Be sure to give me a like if you like what you see. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on Twitch. Links to those down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care. Thanks again. Peace.